I'm Natalie C. Parker, author of Beware the Wild, a young adult story coming out from HarperCollins Children's Books in 2014. I'm vlogging today as part of Victoria Schwab's Making History project, which is celebrating the upcoming release of The Archived. I'm so excited for this book, I can't even tell you. To really get this story, we have to start with a few vocabulary words. Scuba diving, that's self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Air. This is what divers breathe when they go underwater. Nitrox. This is a special combination of gases, usually oxygen, nitrogen, and helium, that divers take with them when they are expecting to dive below 100 feet. Nitrogen narcosis. This happens when you're diving to 100 feet of water and you're breathing air instead of nitrox. Your body metabolizes the gases at a compressed rate, and so pretty soon it's as if you've had a couple of martinis and you are underwater. It's also called the rapture of the deep or the martini effect. Once upon a time, I was an innocent college girl spending every penny I earned on getting myself diving lessons. And I wanted to learn all of the exciting things about the diving world, like how to dive to 100 feet. You've probably guessed where this story is going already. One weekend, I followed an intrepid crew of divers, including my dive instructor, up to a small chain of islands off the coast of Canada in the Pacific Rim, where we were going to do something like 10 dives in 3 days. It was going to be amazing, and one of those dives was going to be to an old wreck down at about 100 feet of water, and this was going to be my first deep dive. It's worth noting that my instructor was breathing nitrox, and his whole idea was to get me down to 100 feet, get me narked, and when I was starting to run out of air, he would give me his spare regulator and help me unnark myself for the ascent. When? Normally, when you breathe through your regulator, it's a pleasant sort of experience. But when you're me and you're narked, then your bubbles sound like laughing fairies and you want to make them laugh more, so you breathe faster and faster using more and more of your oxygen and consequentially getting a little more narked with each breath. The scary part of the story comes in when I looked at my gauge and saw that we were at 137 feet, and that was approximately 37 feet deeper than we had planned on going. The next scary moment happened when I looked at my dive instructor who was swimming ahead in front of me and watched as the two tanks on his back merged into one. At which point I realized that was not my dive instructor but another narked diver, and we were pretty much SOL. So we had to make a screaming ascent. This is dangerous for a number of reasons, but in the moment I was most afraid of the fact that for every 10 feet that we managed to climb straight up, the ocean pushed us back down by 5 feet. So we were making very little progress. We were breathing very heavily, and our gauges were only going down. This was the moment at which I thought I was going to die. I thought, this is it. But there was another voice in my head, and it said, not today. Fight. So the moral of this terrifying and tremendous story is that at the end of that weekend, I ended up in a hyperbaric chamber with a team of Navy SEALs who tried to recruit and date me in equal measure. The real moral of the story is that risks are risky. But you can't have the kinds of amazing, terrifying experiences that change your life without them. As maybe horrible as this was, I wouldn't give it up for anything. But the real moral of this story is that